Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Why don't you come on in here and sit down with me, and let's get something hot or cold to drink and open our Bibles up and sit here at the table with me. And we're going to study Psalm 140 today. Psalm 140, and today is verses 9, 10, and 11 in Psalm 140. And these verses follow on the third request. So we had the first request in 1, the second in 4, and now the third in 8. 9, 10, and 11 follow that third request. And so we're still talking about, the Lord doing this work, not granting them their desire. And so a part of that are these verses. They're, following that theme. One of the things that I forgot to mention yesterday was that in verse 7, the psalmist says, the Lord is the strength of his salvation, that the Lord covers him in the day of battle. This is a work that only God can do. You are not the strength of your own salvation. Only the Lord is. He's the one that saves you. He's the one that keeps you. He's the one that gives you strength to stand in his presence. You have no part in that. You're not the one that does it. So don't torture yourself with the thought that you have to keep you. You don't have to keep you. The Lord keeps you. Now you have to be obedient. There is a responsibility upon us. But as far as the saving act goes, the Lord's the one that keeps you in that. He's the strength of your salvation. He is your covering from all the attacks. You don't really make much difference in all of that. The Lord's the one that does it. He's the strength of it. And then we're going to see some connection back to verse 7 again today. And why don't we just go ahead and read then? How about that? Instead of me, droning on about it, let's go ahead and read 9, 10, and 11. You ready? As for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire, into the deep pits, that they rise not up again. Let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. All right, so that's verses 9, 10, and 11. That's what we have here in Psalm 140. And you'll notice that he says, let them be covered. Let the mischief of their own lips cover them. Well, we had that word cover, didn't we? Where was that? That was back up in verse 7. You cover me in the day of battle. But now here for these men, he's already said in 8, don't grant them their desire. Rather, cover them. Cover them with the mischief of their own lips. So the covering is the opposite. The Lord covers the man of God in the day of battle. Again, remember, this is the voice of the church. And he covers those that are seeking to persecute the church with the mischief that they speak about the church. It's wonderful. This is how the Lord is keeping us. And then we have verse 10, let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire. If we're going to cast burning coals upon the heads of our enemies, it is to do good to them. It's to do good to them. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire, into the deep pits, that they rise not up again. So the deep pits are a good place for you, for me, for them, for all of us to understand our need for God. And so it's not that they're being destroyed necessarily, but it's that the voice of the church is requesting that they come to a place where they cry out to God. Yeah. And then in verse 11, continuing this whole idea of the evil man granting not their desire, notice verse 11, let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Now, I said that, and when we talked about this where was it? They sharpen their tongues. There, in verse 3. That their words were their weapons. And we have it here again. We had it there in verse 9 with the lips, but here it comes out very plainly in 11. Let not an evil speaker be established. So granting not their desire the evil speaker. The speaking is the weaponry. The evil speaker is the weapon. And don't let him be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. It's almost like something proverbial, isn't it? Evil shall hunt the violent man, which of course is a truth. Don't be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. And here we have it here in Psalm 140. Again, this is exactly what we're going to get if we are violent. And so it's a nice proverbial end to this section, which bolsters the prayer of verse 8. Join me now again tomorrow, and we're going to complete Psalm 140 by looking at 12 and 13. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.